Hello, everyone. This is Michaela, and you're listening to the End All the Things podcast. As a life coach and facilitator, I work with individuals and groups to empower their best selves to shine to the betterment of all involved. My goal is always to bring you closer to trusting the voice inside of you that is authentically yours. My job here is no different. In my journey through life, I continue to meet people who use their authenticity, their gifts, to grow, change, and serve through professional and personal endeavors. These people and their stories become my gift to you, for I cannot keep a good thing to myself, and I believe that they may inspire a part of your story to evolve. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of And All the Things. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Mallika Malhotra. She is the co-founder of the brand CEO, and she is a guiding force for female entrepreneurs like me to truly find and harness their voice. Join us on a journey where we dive into the transformative power of embracing change, discovering the strength within, and the importance of aligning our values in our connections and behaviors and cultures and beliefs. Mallika radiates with the essence of openness and confidence because she has done the work to find her true voice. And you and I get to experience some of the magic behind her gift as the brand CEO. And having worked with her myself in a post conversation from this episode, I can tell you that I was like jazzed up, rejuvenated, and ready to do the work because I had a partner in finding my voice. So, all that to say, my gift to you today is a sneak peek into Mallika and all the things. All right, friends, we are here today with Mallika Malhotra and all the things. Tell us a little bit, Mallika, about who you are in the world today as the brand CEO, as a mom, as all the things. Tell us about you.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me today. So, I
Pleasure.
am Mallika Malhotra, the brand CEO, and currently I'm a brand strategist. I'm a mentor for female entrepreneurs. I'm also a mother of three sons. I have older children. My oldest son is 21. I have a second at 19, both in college. So, kind of transitioning into a sort of empty nest. I do still have my 14-year-old at home, but it's definitely a different dynamic at
Yeah.
home. I'm a wife for 23 years, which is
Wow,
hard to
congratulations.
thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. And I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. I'm first generation here in this country. My parents came from different countries, immigrated from India and the Philippines. So that's a big part of my story as well. But I am a serial entrepreneur. I have been an entrepreneur since I've become a mother and have had multiple different businesses under my belt, always trying to be creative, be at home to raise my children, but also have something that fulfilled me and lit me up.
Yeah, so like you want to have it all, right? Like that's, and
Try.
when we know what we want, it's so great to want to have it all, right? Like I want to have a business that supports the lifestyle that allows me to do all these things, have the family. We can have that, but it doesn't necessarily come easily, right? So you can't just sit down one day and decide you want to do this and have everything be perfect. So how has your journey from, two immigrant parents, right? And in our world, gosh, the last 40, 50 years, during our time, it's been a little crazy. So well, let's start there. How does having that diversity inform how you move through life in
Yeah,
this
I
way?
think, having parents who came from a different country at a time where, where I lived, there wasn't a lot of diversity. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't have access to social media to see diversity, right? You lived in your town, and you only saw what was right in front of you.
Right.
I think it's, it's challenging to grow up and try to assimilate and be both American, but also be Asian. And not only am I Asian, I'm half Indian, I'm half Filipino.
Mm.
So I'm not 100% Indian, I'm not 100% Filipino, and I'm not 100% technically American. So I was a little bit of everything.
Right. So where do you even fit in, right? Like it's so interesting when you think about it through that lens of, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. You have all these different cultures tying in, but then there was probably some separation still because of the differences.
Was a little bit of inner conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I think growing up, I wanted to be American. I wanted to be blonde and blue-eyed, and I didn't really appreciate who I was and what my culture was, and what my ethnicity was, just
Mm-hmm.
because I was a minority and my parents were different. They ate different foods, they spoke different languages, they had accents. I mean, I can remember vividly, I was a very, pretty social kid, and I would invite people to the house and I would beg my mom, do not cook curry or fry fish before my friends come because the smell lingers.
Wow.
It's awful. Like as an adult now, thinking and so proud of my heritage now.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was like, you need to go to the supermarket and get a roasted chicken
And
and
some macaroni and cheese, please. Like,
macaroni and cheese. And she was like, we do not eat macaroni and cheese. I said, okay, we'll we ate rice every day. You can have white rice and get a roasted chicken. And at least my friend can stay over for dinner, because that's what kids did, right? You stayed over. That was the fun thing. Let's stay over for
right.
dinner. So, a lot of those kind of incidents and really trying to discover who I am, pretending to be someone else, all the things. I think as children, as teens, we all go through that, but I may have had it feel a little bit more complicated because I didn't have a true sense of belonging outside of my family. So,
So what's so powerful there then is, here you are in this world without a whole lot of representation of your self-image and, not really fitting in. And then as time moves on, you pick up a camera and start looking through the lens. Are those two paths connected? And, was it looking to see what you didn't previously see or celebrate maybe?
yeah, I think it's very deep. I would love to say that's kind of,
Sorry, my brain just goes there.
I'm not sure that was the transition. I think picking up the camera for me, I at the time was a young mother. I had two boys, and my husband is a surgeon. And so my husband had a lot of residencies and trainings that took us across the country, different places, almost like an army wife. I felt like every 2 years we moved. And so we moved away from our family. My family was in New York. And we lived everywhere from Denver, Colorado to Palo Alto, California to Gainesville, Florida, random places, right? And so the camera for me became a tool where I could tell the story of my children to stay connected to my faraway family.
Beautiful.
And then it sort of snowballed into, wow, this is an opportunity for me to maybe have a business or a creative outlet while I'm raising these kids, while my husband's working 100-hour weeks as a surgery resident, and have this, like, it almost became a lifeline for me, honestly, the camera, because it gave me kind of a sense of purpose. I could tell stories, I could be creative, I could, connect with other families, I can connect with my family. It was really, it happened in the right time for me, because motherhood can feel isolating, especially if you're not close to your friends and family.
Yes, it
And it
can.
was a connection point for me.
That's beautiful. And, we really, when we are curious and seeking something with true desire, right? You wanted to tell your own story and picked up the camera and started making it happen and subsequently helped other people tell their stories. And I think that that's so interesting to then bring to how motherhood is isolating and how what you did was pulling other moms in and showing them the beautiful stories that they're writing. And it's like validation, right?
Yeah.
So then I know that was under the brand Mickey Photo and Company and Co, right?
Yes.
And I've seen that pop up in some places as I've looked around, and I would love to know about the evolution from Mickey Photo and Co. to Mallika Malhotra and Co., which we now know you as the brand CEO. So how does one go? And I'm digging here for the nuggets of awareness and courage and, just challenging where you are to get further.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an evolution, right? And, being open-minded and seeing where opportunity lies before you and taking risks. And so I've been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades. So there's it's like a roller coaster ride, highs and lows and twists and turns. So when I started with photography, it was children and family photography because my children are young and it just seemed like the right space to be in. But as we kept moving to new places for my husband's work, we ended up coming to New Jersey, which is where I spent almost 10 years. And in New Jersey, it was such a saturated market. The competition was really heated. And I saw an opportunity to shift my business into brand photography because I started networking. I started joining Big and other groups where I saw that women were using photos more than just a headshot. They were having blogs and newsletters, and social media was just really blossoming, like Instagram and Facebook. So I thought maybe this is an opportunity for me. And plus, I had a corporate background in advertising and marketing. So it seemed like there was a gap in the market that I could transition from children and family and move into brand photography. And maybe be like a trailblazer at the time because not many brand photographers were there. And it was the right decision. I stopped doing all the other things, even though the families that I worked with were like, "Are you crazy? Where are you going?" And I niched my own brand to become the brand photographer. I wrote a book about the topic. But while I was doing all of this brand photography, I was doing a lot of strategy. I was asking my clients about the mission behind their brand, their values, the vision they had, their ideal client, what they had set up for marketing, for their products, their services, their programs. I thought all photographers asked those questions, but they didn't. And so soon enough, I was doing really strong brand photography, but more people were coming to me for the brand strategy. They were saying, "I heard you help this person figure out their positioning and their messaging. Can you help me?" And, as a photographer, all my career was one client at a time, which is a business model that can really get you on the road to burnout because you can't scale. And I wasn't interested in having a team of photographers. That was sort of a one-woman show. But now doing brand strategy, I was able to create a program where I could actually teach and help more people at the same time. And that really changed my business model, my revenue stream, everything. And so that was a transition into brand strategy. And I really loved it. To be honest, I feel like photography is something I'm good at, but brand strategy is really my zone of genius. And
That's so beautiful to hear. We don't say that enough about ourselves, that we have a zone of genius, that we are part of something. And without the photography time and attention, it wouldn't have helped you be
yes,
here on this expertise.
yeah.
And I really, really celebrate
I need
that.
that as a building block in order to have the confidence and the awareness that that was a viable option for me to pursue.
So how long had you been in the photography space of your career when you transitioned to the strategy space?
So I started in children and family photography in 2008. I went all in on brand photography in 2015. I launched my first brand strategy program, I believe it was 2018. And now I don't do any photography. And I had a little bit of an identity crisis, to be honest, when I decided.
I was wondering about that.
It's hard so long. You know yourself. Miki Photo was a brand I had built from scratch, and it was a part of me. And it was hard to shed that skin in order to grow into the person that I wanted to really become. And so I kept sort of doing both. And then at some point, again, I had to sort of niche my brand because it's not sustainable to do all the things. And I wanted to have a very simplified, streamlined, and strong brand. And so then I pivoted again into really becoming the brand CEO, which is about mentorship and strategy, which is what I've been doing for the last few years.
That's incredible. And I appreciate you sharing that it was hard to give up the one identity, that brand, because it becomes a person. It's a whole living entity. What was the attachment to it? Was it a fear-based attachment, or was it like, I love this thing so much, I don't want it to change, you know? And I ask because when I started my business, I registered it as Joy Enterprises LLC, because you can't have an LLC that's quote incorporated, Joy Inc. So over the past few months, I've been deliberating on shifting away from the Joy Inc. version of me and getting into the Joy Enterprises version of me. And I'm kind of waffling a little bit. So I would love some insight into how you addressed loving the old, but saying thank you and moving into the new.
Yeah. So I definitely was afraid. I was afraid to walk away from something that I had built and had so much brand equity in, and it was memorable, and people, I had built the know, like, and trust factor. But a friend of mine had asked me while I was sort of like going back and forth, she actually asked me to think about something which maybe will help you. She said, when you're 90 years old and you're looking back at your business and your brand, what are the things you're going to be most proud of? And I thought about female empowerment and having women have a voice through strategy and branding. I didn't even think about photography at that time when I was in my head. And so if photography was falling because I had explored these other areas, if it was falling down the list, then I had to trust myself to then make the change, because I was really confusing my audience. Miki photo, photography, but you're doing strategy and you're not doing. So I had to take the leap and trust that I could take what I had built and sort of put it into this new brand with this new focus. And it took a little bit of time to gain momentum, but I definitely think whatever I had built around Miki Photo has helped me propel further. And it's part of my legacy and it's part of my history. And I have a lot of respect for that business. It's just not, when I think about the woman and the business I wanted to become, I felt like I had to step away from that in order to make space for this new version of me.
I love that. And you seem to have done a great job, because your brand is tight. Like,
Thank
you
you.
show up to our Believe, Inspire, Grow. It's a women's empowerment organization. You show up and I'm like taking notes, like, all right, Mallika's about to go. And you just rock it out and nail it. You've got it memorized. You've got what is it? Your elevator pitch, right?
Yep.
Okay. Can you do that for us? Give everyone the glory of your elevator pitch. Would you mind?
Yeah, I can try.
Okay.
So my name is Mallika Malhotra. I am the brand CEO, and I help female entrepreneurs who feel like the invisible expert. They struggle with standing out in their crowded market. And what I do is I help them really strengthen their message. I help them find their power niche so they can become the go-to expert in their industry.
That's powerful. Okay, so what you're doing there is you very clearly introduce yourself. You don't rush through that. It's, here is my name, here is what I do. And then you lay out a little more of what you do, right? Like, I help.
Yes.
Right. I help these people who, and then you fill in the blanks, by, right? And you're telling them the results, not what you're doing. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's important to get very clear on who you work with, what they're struggling with. So right at the start, I'm painting a picture of the pain point using the term invisible expert. And believe me, I didn't get this in the beginning. This is all from
time and experience.
Yeah, but the phrase invisible expert for my ideal client, they are leaning in and I see the heads nodding. So it's like really getting that customer language, your client's language, and putting it into your pitch. So you're painting the pain point, and then you're telling them where you're taking them. My clients want to be the go-to brand, the only choice. So making sure it's very clear. I'm not talking about my mastermind and my digital products. There's no place for that, in my opinion, in your elevator pitch. It's in one, you're out the other. People want to hear the pain that you help them with and where you can take them on the other side, the desired result.
Mhm. I love that. And it's, it's really not all that different from what I do as a coach, right? It's getting in and understanding what the pain point is, right? Coming up with some language around how it could be different, and then putting it into action and seeing what we can do. And I think the reason I'm picking here is because our audience today can take so much from this. What is our intention of what we're doing, right? Do I know when I go to this meeting, this engagement, this fundraiser, whatever, what is the intention? What is the goal? Am I sure on who I'm here to serve? Am I sure on what my role is? It all ties in. Hey there, amazing listeners of And All the Things. It's your host, Michaela here, your partner in growth and joy, coming to you with an exciting opportunity. Are you ready to infuse your life with a burst of positivity, perspective, and purpose? I am thrilled to announce to you that the Course for Joy, brought to you by Joy Enterprises and yours truly, is available for you today. If this podcast has tickled your brain to think beyond where you are ready to embark on a transformative journey where you'll discover the boundless joy you deserve. Life surely can get hectic, and self-care often takes a back seat. That's why we've designed this 4-week self-guided adventure to seamlessly fit into your daily routine. So, in just 15 minutes, a few times a week, the enlightening video lessons, engaging workbooks, and open office hours will guide you through a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. As a special bonus, once you enroll in the Course for Joy, you'll receive an offer for an exclusive 50-minute live one-to-one coaching session to discuss your progress and where to go from here. We'll chart your course of joy together, celebrating your progress and creating space for your next steps. Are you ready to paint your life with vibrant joy and purpose? Head over to myjoycoach.com to learn more about the transformative Course for Joy. Let's amplify your joy and ignite your purpose together. Do you find as you help people with their business brand that you're also helping them with their personal brand? Do you see an alignment there?
Oh my gosh, because it's about clarity, getting super crystal clear. And once you get clarity, you're more confident, right? And then once you're more confident, then you have the courage to take action. So it's like those 3 pieces. It doesn't matter if it's building your brand, and we want that, your business, but it's also building the person behind the brand. And they're so locked hand in hand. They're both very important to success in both, professional or personal.
Yeah. And it is very true. We are so tied to our businesses. And if we're not taking time to evaluate how we're perceiving it, how we're perceiving ourselves, and is the market perceiving it that way, if we're not factoring in all that feedback, we tend to go astray, right? And I know I can be a victim of that. But my next question, I guess, is as I listen to you and all these, you've had businesses for decades, you've moved all over, started fresh, made new friends, made new networking organizations. And when I said to you, what kind of topics would you like to talk about? You said, motherhood, business, balance. And I'm like, all of that sounds a little contradictory, right? Like we don't often put those things together. So I love for tips and tricks on how do you manage over the years through their different ages, even to balance, to find harmony, if you will, in the work, in the moving, in the momming, in the being your authentic self in your business.
Yeah. I mean, it's the biggest question we all have. I'm still working. I think it might look like on paper that I've nailed it, but we never nail it. I always say we're all works in progress. Even with 2 decades of business experience, I'm still working on my brand. I'm still evolving. You've heard that whole, my history with motherhood. it's just trying to do the best that you can, giving yourself grace, joining communities where you have the support, where you don't feel alone, where you have the cheerleaders and the people that will call you out on things. With all the moving that I have done over the many years, I feel very lucky that I have made very good friends that gave me that support, because those are dark days. Like, we're not talking about the days of moving to a new place and having young children and starting over and starting your business over and having to find friends, and the loneliness you feel and the isolation you feel. That's all part of it. And I guess part of the way to get the balance is just acceptance. You're going to have all of those things. Believe me, I'm having it now. I live in Maine now. I moved from New Jersey 3 years ago, and in New Jersey, my family was there.
Right.
I had very good friends. I had a robust network. I moved during the pandemic up here to Maine, and Maine is very different. And I'm still adjusting, but I give myself grace. I really try my best to be open and curious, and just have that acceptance that this is a new chapter, and it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's just different, and be open to the lessons that it might teach you.
Yeah. And that's where we say, is this happening to me or happening for me?
Right.
Right. And it's in this space, what am I going to do with the opportunities that I've been given, even the ones that don't feel so pleasant, so that I can grow and evolve through it? Because you're in Maine. I mean, and you can change that, but probably not going to right now. And if you do, then you'll deal with it. But it's so beautiful to be able to say, you know what, this isn't my ideal scenario, but I'm going to make the most of it. And and being clear on what making the most means. 10 years ago, that might have meant having a very big friend network and a very, busy social life, and the kids all. Now I'm like, oh, I want a couple good friends, and I want to hunker down, and I want to travel, and it's different goals. So just like with our business, we have to keep reevaluating. Where am I? What is it that I want in this time and space? How do I bring that to life and bring that into perspective? So I really celebrate that. And I can see how your evolution of life and business and time has brought you to that place of knowing. But life isn't always fun and easy and without bumps and bruises. But it sounds like you've done a really good job of making the most of your all over the placeness. Would you
Yeah,
say
I think
that?
it's resilience, right? It's like learning just to adapt. I have good training through my husband's residency years, moving every 2 or 3 years, and then having a long stint in New Jersey and then moving again. Like, it's hard, but then I look back and I think, wow, look at all the places that we've lived. Look at all the friends that we've made. My children they're all born in different states. They are so resilient and they have grit, and they can talk to people from anywhere and everywhere because we've lived in so many places. And I think that's, looking at what the gold is in all of this, right? The gems that you can pull from this. And like you said, now I'm in a new season in my life. I had, mentioned my kids are older. I have two out the door. And so, being in Maine where it is a little isolating and quiet, there's also some joy in the solitude, right? To get to know myself again, to be able to do more things by myself without kids on my hip or in tow. It's a totally different season. More time with my husband, more time with my dog in nature, right? So just really being open and embracing some of those good things, even though there are things you miss or things that you wish were different. I mean, it's life, and you just have to have that resiliency and that openness.
Resilience is a beautiful thing to learn, right? Especially when we're evaluating and checking in and being self-aware of to what's most important, where to put that energy. Like we could spend all day spinning our energetic wheels to things that don't matter and don't serve. So when we think about that, I reflect on the fact that you've been married for 23 years, right?
Yes.
That is not something that happens all the time anymore. I think we're at like 16 or something. What's the trick? What have you guys, because it is not easy to relocate, to restart, to make all the friends, to do all the things. What's the trick to marriage for 23 years under that kind of movement and energy? Because we're all, whether we're moving cities, towns, states, we're all moving and changing. So do you have any advice for us on making it work?
Yeah, I'm still learning, but I would,
And feel free to be like, girl, I don't know. We're figuring it out.
I mean, I think one of the things that has worked for us is that we just really try to find moments to laugh and to celebrate. We love to have fun. And so we take the trips, couples trips, we do the
Right.
dinners out, we play the music and we dance. We, host a wine tasting, we go to happy hour, we make time for each other to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a priority for us, and that's where we connect, and that can help when things are rough. And then I think we have a deep respect for each other's work. Like for a long time, I put my husband's work first, obviously,
Sure.
and I was home with the kids, and those were hard days. Like there were dark days where he was always working and I was always with the kids with no family. But as we've gotten to the other side and he's no longer a resident and he has a much better schedule with a much better income, he has invested in me
Mm-hmm.
and in my dreams. And, I have this beautiful business that I waited so long for. A lot has to do with the support that he has given me and just being like the cheerleader for me and knowing that I kind of waited for him and now he's all in for me. So it's like that mutual respect that we both have goals and dreams. And we're there for each other. And believe me, it is not perfect. There are many instances.
Nothing is, right? Because we're always growing and changing and we're human and we're, can be a little trigger happy sometimes with our words, right?
Maybe it's respect and fun, just always trying to incorporate fun into the marriage, into the relationship, into the life. And that has been very helpful.
And I think what I love about that is it sounds like there are some agreements that you two have. Like if fun is a value, like a pillar in the relationship, it sounds like it's known and made aware by both of you, right? Because where we often go wrong is I have fun as the priority value, and the other person has stability or I don't know, like a schedule or something like that. But we can't talk about it and say, I see you with your need for stability, but right now we need some fun, and being able to fit both of those blocks in. But we have to be able to talk about it,
Yeah.
right? If we
Definitely.
can't speak our truth, nobody can meet our truth, right? We can't be reciprocated. So, and I think it's also beautiful that there's this like give and take, this push and the pull of, yes, I understand that right now, that, when the kids were young and traveling a lot, it wasn't your time to build the big, 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 right? But you found a way to let your passion and purpose still grow, even if it was in a smaller way and it was agile. But it's knowing that there's still more potential, that there's more to come, and being willing to answer when the new brand comes along and goes, you're not a photographer anymore. You are a strategist, and it's time to shift gears and put that into play. Um, Now, when you think about the future and, as you slowly become empty nester, what are some of the passions that you are interested in exploring, right? You said like you're walking outside more, you're exploring a little bit more of you. Do you have targets, goals? Are you looking for any parts? Where do you see yourself
Those are all
going?
good questions. I'm like actually thinking some of those things with 2024 around the corner, right?
Mhm.
Um, so we have 4 years with our youngest who's still here, will still be in Maine until he graduates. But then, what's next? Can we move somewhere else? Maybe, maybe not, but definitely want travel. Travel is very important to us. Part of
Mhm.
that adventure, part of the fun. So we try to do a bunch of trips, but maybe we could do even more if we're not locked at home
Mhm.
with children. I've been taking up more sports like tennis or pickleball, like trying to learn some new things
Cool.
and even trying to do it together. Because I'm finding right now, like my evenings are more open when they never were. I'd be in the car all the time, and I'm thinking like, gosh, I don't want to be in front of the TV for hours before I go to bed. And there's this big
Right.
block of open time. So it's almost, it's an opportunity. We're like, what can we do together? What can we explore? So we talk about things, we talk about where we want to retire, we talk about where we want to travel to, what we want to learn together, what we want to do is golf, something we want to do together. So a lot of those questions are coming up, but nothing's really been solidified, but we're open and we're trying to keep it fun and be curious.
And that's the magic, is the willingness to be curious and say, well, what could it be? Or, all right, so we have this today, but it might be different next year, and to just have fun with it, right? This is our one wild and precious little life. Let's have some fun with it. So here's the question for you. Considering your diverse background with the different smells of the foods and cultures entwined, how much of that did you bring forward? And were you cooking curry when your kids' friends came over? Because it's a slightly different landscape today, right? Like,
oh yeah, now everybody wants to eat Indian food.
Right. So tell me about that. Like, how does that bring you here to today? And were your kids like, oh my God, curry mom? Or were they like, please, mom?
Yeah, no, I think it's a totally different world now where we're embracing and we're curious about new cultures. So, as my children were growing up, I was going into the school and sharing, like Diwali is a holiday that just happened. That's our festival of lights. And I would be, going into the school with the other Indian moms and teaching what it
So
means,
cool.
like arts and crafts. And so much more of an active role, much more celebratory of the culture instead of almost hiding it. Wearing Indian clothes, you could not, I would be caught, I would be so upset if anyone in my, high school career saw me in Indian clothes. And now I can't wait to wear it. It is colorful and beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's completely different. And plus, I think I have come into myself. I have learned to embrace my differences. I have learned to celebrate my differences, and share them and not hide them. And, and luckily the world is more open to it. It's not completely open, but more open to it than when I was growing up. My husband is Indian. I'm, as I said, I'm mixed. And so my children are mixed. They're second generation. I do feel like lots of things do get lost as, every next generation things get lost through the cracks. And I think because I'm mixed, I even lose more because
A
I
little
haven't
more.
gone the
It's
other.
already diluted by the time it gets to you.
Yeah.
So what's a tradition that's important for you to carry forward? You mentioned Diwali, right? Is there a food you make or
Yeah.
a
I mean,
particular way of being?
I just celebrated birthday. And so in the Filipino culture, whenever you have a birthday, you eat noodles for long life. So, anytime we go out to dinner close to the birthday, we're like eating noodles, or we're saying, my boys, did you eat noodles for my birthday, for my long life?
That's
And
great.
there are lots of there's so many Indian holidays. They're more cultural for me than religious. There's a beautiful holiday. It's called Rakhi. It's a brother-sister holiday where sisters tie a Rakhi as like a thread bracelet around your brother's wrist. And it's a promise that they will protect you and they will take care of you. And so that is, even though I don't have daughters, I have nieces, and we still practice that within our extended family.
That's
So
so cool.
too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up because I have a brother that I love very much.
Yeah. Yes, look it up. Rakhee,
Can I
Rakhi.
give one to my sister too?
You can actually, it's kind of a new thing now. They're like, why is it only brother or sister?
Yeah,
Now with times changing, and
yeah.
I've heard that more sister bonds are doing that as well.
That's really interesting. Thank you. And it's called Iraqi.
It's called Rakhi, Rakhee. Yes.
Thank you. I love to learn. And I think this is where, at this critical point where we have so many cultures, right, that we are seeing and that are represented. And because I don't know enough about Diwali, right, I might make some arrogant statement about, oh, you mean the one with all the colors? Like, I don't even know if that fits, right? But we don't know what we don't know. And when I make those errors, I just want someone to be like, hey, let me tell you what's up. Let me just fill you in so you have better information moving forward. I go in assuming by and large, people are just, trying their best. So tell me, please, so I can speak more clearly about it. Tell me, what is Diwali?
So I will tell you as much as I know.
Please do, because I want to be,
Not an
I like to
expert,
learn.
but so it's our festival of lights, and it's
Mhm.
really about like good over evil. It's also a holiday that celebrates prosperity and wealth. There is a goddess named Lakshmi that we usually pray to on Diwali. So
Okay.
we put all the lights on in the house, we light candles, and we sort of welcome, Lakshmi into the house to bring prosperity and wealth to everyone. But because it's also with the lights, it's about, goodness over evil, love over hate, peace over war. So
That's
it's
beautiful.
yeah, it's a beautiful holiday. Most people in India celebrate it, and it's very fun. You have, firecrackers and sparklers and, lots of food and music, and it's just a really wonderful way to celebrate together.
That's great. Thank you. And I appreciate that, because when we are curious and can understand, and like that feels good just to listen to you say it. Right. So, and it brings understanding. And I think that, to your point about getting clear on our brands, that's all we want, right? We want to know who we are and what we're doing and living our fullest, even when it's tough, but showing up and giving it our best shot, right? Whether it's through a camera or through strategy sessions. So if we wanted to know more about you, get in contact with you for some of the services that you offer, can you tell us how to find more Mallika?
Yes, thank you. So you can visit my website at mallikamalhotra.co, which has all the information that I have about my programs, my mastermind. But I really love to spend time on Instagram. So that's a great place to find me at mallikamalhotra.co. I have lots of videos, lots of content all about branding and niching and my family. So really merging the professional, the business, as well as the personal.
And I find that inspiring, and I appreciate that about your Instagram, because I'm also in the space of wanting to learn how to balance the two, right? How do I just have one Instagram account that's me,
Yes.
and that's it? Simplify, efficiency, and to your point earlier, be the brand, be the authenticity. So selfishly, friends, this was as much for me as it was for you. So I'm very grateful that you shared all of this. And if before we leave, if you could share, if you could have a billboard that said one thing to the world today, assuming that your business has been adequately advertised, what would you say to the world today?
Yes. So I think if I had a billboard, it would say, stand in your power. That is an important theme that I feel like for business, for branding, for professional, but also just for your personal, to stand in your power, to be authentic,
Mm-hmm.
to align with your skills and strengths and have the voice to express it.
I'm
Um,
tingling all over, by the way.
oh,
I got all
good.
the tingle bumps.
Yeah.
Tingle. So thank you. That was beautiful. Stand in your power, right? And that means that we can begin to see our power and hold it and own it, and then just boom, give it to the world, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to shine our beautiful lights and to amplify them. And I love how you said earlier about, you can only do so much in a one-to-one relationship, but then when you can go big and spread it out. And for me, I think about my brand and any resistance I've had to promoting and growing it. There are things I've been unpacking and untying, but I have to look at it as the more I believe in it, the more I should want it to reach. Right. And every opportunity I get to reach is fulfilling my purpose. And that makes me feel really good. So all of this points to stand in your power,
Yes.
stand strong in that power. And I really love that. So thank you. Mallika, this has been so enjoyable. I am really grateful for the work that you do and the way that you have honestly and authentically shown up and changed over time. And the more we can belong to ourselves, we can stand in our power. So thank you for helping people find their truth and clarity.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved
Oh,
doing this with you.
this is so fun. And I really, we're going to have a conversation next time about how do you keep that beautiful room in the background so white? It's white. And I'm like, you have 3 kids, but they're older. So maybe they're not allowed in that room. But y'all, she is impressive across the board in every aspect. So please go check out Mallika. She is the brand CEO, and she is a beautiful light in this world. I am grateful today in this November time for you and for Big connecting us, because I just learned such a great deal in that, 45 minutes. And I appreciate you. So thank you. And wherever you're off to today, I hope you make it a great day.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay. That was awesome.
And that's it. Hey, my lovely listeners of And All the Things. Remember that incredible episode number 21 with my dear friend Ella Majors? Well, we have got thrilling news for you. I am very excited and honored to join with Ella and her mission as an affiliate for her 22 Reboot program. Having gone through the program myself, I can attest to its ability to deliver results and growth, both personally and professionally. So here's what's up. You know you have earned the accolades, you have done the work, you have achieved massive success, and you've conquered it all. But you've neglected the one asset you cannot afford to lose, your health. What if in just 22 days you could feel freaking fantastic? What if you could completely reboot your life and health, allowing you the energy, the clarity, and the drive to continue conquering the world? The 22 Reboot will get you there. After just 22 days of following this revolutionary transformation system, hundreds of successful entrepreneurs, including myself, have experienced massive, measurable results, all while making conscious, ethical, and compassion-based lifestyle choices that honor our planet and the animals who live here. It is time to disrupt your life so that you, and only you, can save it. So join the hundreds of people whose lives have already been changed thanks to Ella's expert coaching. Her coaching material, content, and direction aligns so beautifully with the work I do here at Joy Enterprises. The difference is she pulls in the plant-based and wellness factors that I don't have the experience for. So because I cannot keep a good thing to myself, I have to tell you about this. So if it's got you interested, please click the link in the show notes or reach out directly, and feel free to ask as many questions as you want, because you are worth it. It is time for you to commit to yourself, your body, and the planet in the very same way that you have committed to your business, your family, your life, and all the things that you've said yes to. And let's do this. And that's a wrap on another episode of And All the Things. If you enjoyed today's show, please like and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you really liked it, please go ahead and rate it. Then think about who in your life might also need to hear it and any of the other episodes we have shared. Then share it with them. When you find something meaningful, something valuable, you've got to share it and pay it forward to those you care for. Thanks for joining us, and follow along on Instagram at MyJoyCoach to see more of me, your host, Michaela Birdyshaw. And as always, make it a great day.